welcome to it. It is your feel-good breakfast show. It's Expresso. We're live on SABC3 on a beautiful Monday morning. Thank you so much for choosing to start the top of the week the right way, the right side of lockdown. Now, we know that big conversations all over the news at the moment has been around how the lockdown has affected the export industry. And one man who's definitely felt that burn is Uzair Essack, who started a successful fruit supply company 5 years ago while studying a BCom at UCT, and at the time he had no resources and he had to learn about an entire industry from scratch, putting in hours, putting in the time, the effort and the passion. And today he has an office in the heart of Cape Town and 2 international offices based in Doha and Qatar. Uzair, welcome to the show. So good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be on the show.
I have to start by congratulating you on featuring on April's issue of Forbes Africa magazine as the Forbes Africa 30 Under 30. Congratulations. What does this mean to you? And is it something that you thought would happen?
Thank you so much. So the Forbes list is basically a list of that celebrates Africans on the continent under the age of 30 who they feel have excelled in their respective fields. So, I mean, the list includes entrepreneurs, musicians, sportsmen, sportswomen, etc. So, basically, if you're excelling in your field, you have a chance to make it on the Forbes list. And to me, being an entrepreneur, reading Forbes publications is something I do on a daily basis. So, when I was featured as one of the most influential business leaders on the continent under the age of 30, it was definitely a dream come true. And it's something I hope I can build on and I can take forward and use to inspire other Africans.
That is a beautiful story, a story of South African pride and just showing the possibilities that exist over here, but also if you put in the time. Well done. Congratulations. Now, Uzair, we know that the entire world is experiencing the Covid-19 pandemic at the moment. We have strict regulations all over the place that have been put in place around the world to diminish the spread of the virus. What impact does this then have on the South African export market?
So obviously with every industry, regulations are a bit different. Luckily, because I deal in, I would say, the most raw product, which is fresh fruit and veg, we're able to continue as an essential service. So I'm very fortunate about that, but it hasn't been an easy road. With a short staff component, things are a bit difficult. Things are taking longer, like the ports are a bit delayed, documentation is a bit delayed. On the other end of the shipping in countries we're sending the stuff to, their ports are also not at full capacity, so it's taking a bit longer. And as a result, you know, it's a bit stressful because dealing with the perishable, you're scared that the fruit might go off. Shipping lines are charging us extra surcharges because they're having to spend more time in certain ports. So although it is kind of business as usual in a sense of us being able to send fruit and veg, it's a challenge that there are many challenges that we still have to face on a daily basis in the industry.
Mm. And are you finding that the government has been very helpful during this time in making sure that the systems are in place and documentation is in place when requested to ensure that you're able to carry out business?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all see the government's trying as hard as possible to help individual businesses, whether it's SMMEs, whether it's bigger businesses. Ramaphosa, you know, announced a 500 billion rand kind of assistance package. So I think they are trying their hardest to help us wherever possible. It's just, I think, how far they can help us. That's going to be the question.
Well, thank you for keeping the business open and for operating during this time, keeping those jobs safe. Now, we are still in the national lockdown, which urges people to stay and work from home. On top of this, we're also experiencing a large food demand. I mean, you hear about it everywhere you go. Does the lockdown then affect our fresh produce industries?
Yeah, so I think it depends where the fresh produce is being sold. So firstly, let's talk about the production. I think I've seen pictures of pack houses and farms where workers there are dressed almost like medical workers, you know, wearing face shields and face masks and gloves and having to use hand sanitizer regularly. And obviously that's to avoid spreading the virus from that point of view. So that's quite important. In terms of the demand and supply, I think supermarkets are obviously very, very busy with everyone having to eat at home when generally they may be eating out a couple of times a week. The demand for produce from them is a bit higher. But on the other end, I think our local markets, so that's our regional fresh produce markets, they're struggling a bit because they would generally supply to the hospitality industry. So with hotels and restaurants being closed, I think they are experiencing a bit of a less demand than usual.
I like this next question in this conversation I need to have with you, because your business is really just rooted in heart. It's rooted in people. You are the founder and president of Get Giving. It's a non-profit company where you aim to benefit the community in as many ways possible. Tell us about how this operates, and of course how the public can get involved in helping you do this.
Sure. So Get Giving, we basically started as a more intimate NPO or community organization. So although there are many NPOs around, it's, people don't always want to just donate money or donate food or non-perishable items. They want to be hands-on, and sometimes access to being hands-on is a bit limited. So that's why we decided to start this. And we host a couple of food drives per year. Last year we did 300 food parcels, which translated to about 35,000 individual meals. And we're hoping to grow that year on year. Another project that we do is a Careers Day, where we go to communities where, for example, drug abuse and gangsterism is quite prevalent in those communities, and we would just try and inspire them to focus on education, focus on trying to build a career, and show them that there is a different path they can take in life to avoid those sort of criminal activities or, falling in the wrong categories. So we always welcome support, whether you want to get involved just by helping out, whether you want to do donations, whether you just want to help us with the packing, whatever your capacity is, we're more than grateful. And you're welcome to reach out to us on our social medias. That's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Send us a message there. Or alternatively, you can send me a message on my personal social media privately, and I'll be more than happy to respond.
Uzair Essack, Managing Director of Cape Crops, thank you so much for joining us and chatting to us here on your Feel Good Breakfast show this morning. All the best with your business. And of course, congratulations on your Forbes Africa 30 Under 30 accolade, all right?
Perfect. Thank you for having me, and keep safe.
Fantastic. A superstar businessman and an inspiring young South African. Now, despite his phenomenal success, Uzair remains down to earth, and we're seeing it in the various initiatives that he's involved in. He's an incredible ambassador to our country, and he is very inspiring through his accomplishments, and he's a motivation to all South Africans that proactiveness, diligence, and hard work does pay off. We thank you, Essack.